Hey nerds, I will review my top 10 moments and honorable mentions from the 14th and 15th episode of the Pitt Season 2, starting now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. Before we start, chapter times are below if you want to skip ahead, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, please check out our website, thenerdsocial.org, for more reviews and analysis from our contributors. So, episode 14 is titled 8 p.m. It is written by Noah Wyle and is directed by Uta Briesewitz. Episode 15 is titled 9 p.m. It is written by R. Scott Gemmill and is directed by John Wells. Spoiler-free logline of episode 14 is after his bike takes a hit in the ambulance bay, Robby levels with Duke. A spinal cord injury forces Langdon to attempt a risky procedure. Spoiler-free logline of episode 15 is Al-Hashimi reveals details from her medical history, forcing Robby to face an ethical dilemma as he prepares to leave for his sabbatical. So this episode 14 picked up immediately after episode 13 with Robby telling Dana, "What if I don't come back?" which continues to fuel the speculation of whether or not he will come back to the pit, but also whether or not he'll take his own life. The emotions are running rampant, even though Robby has already worked well past his day shift. But there's at least 3 scene-stealing moments with Robby, even when he is completely burnt out. The 15th episode puts some breadcrumbs as to what might happen in season 3. There are still some unknowns as to whether or not some of the doctors or nurses will return, but the episode and season did end with a bang of a surprising mid-credits scene. I just wonder how the heck do they have that much energy even after a 15-hour day shift from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Remember, they have to do this all over again the following day. I'm just amazed on how they're able to do this. Yes, they are young, but some of them are not that young. In terms of rating, I would give this 14th and 15th episode a 10 out of 10, which is a theater rental. This show continues to be one of the best on television, and they will probably win even more Emmys next year. They're not afraid to confront controversial topics, whether they are health related or not, and they did it with care, compassion, and respect. It's been a long time where I can truly say that each episode is exceptional. Probably Game of Thrones is pretty close to that. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms was similar this year in terms of exceptional quality, but the Pit has really done it consistently for a longer period of time. 15 episodes is pretty long. Comparatively speaking, back in the 90s used to be like 26, but now 15 is still fairly long, and it's really been very good throughout each episode. I don't think I had anything below a 9 for any of the 15 episodes. As I review my top 10 and honorable mention moments, there are spoilers ahead for The Pit Season 2, episodes 14 and 15, so get ready for that right now. Okay. So we start off with honorable mention number 4, which is Mohan leaving. Many people online have said that the actor portraying Mohan is leaving the show. I wouldn't be surprised if she did leave, as there are hints that she has a knack for geriatric care. There was a couple of moments with that. We probably don't officially find out until season 3, or maybe some of the entertainment pages will break the story first and we'll know ahead of time. My honorable mention number 3 is Javadi leaving, Dr. J. She's had an up and down experience along with Ogilvy, but it was nice to hear Robby giving her some reassurance on her exceptional gifts. Sometimes it's important for young people to hear this from other adults besides their parents, because they can be very overbearing and sometimes they don't know what exactly is best for them, except for some older adults that actually work with them. My honorable mention number 2 is Whitaker's missing ID badge. Turns out that Digby took the badge and was wheeling the medical training dummy into the park outside the hospital with the badge. At least the audience knows what's happened to it, and bad luck for Whitaker losing it, and it'll probably take him another year to get a new one again because of bureaucratic red tape. My honorable mention number 1 is, as for Whitaker, he may be the heir apparent to Robby as he seems to have his life together and being Robby's house guest. Again, I just admire the energy he still has after a 16-hour day, and he's still able to show care and love to his girlfriend and her baby. He reminds me a lot of Samwell Tarly from Game of Thrones, a very good man who's very devoted to a single mom. My number 10 moment is Dana calling out the police to take the SA kits. This was an issue that was lingering from previous episodes, and hopefully the police does their job and get the SA kits analyzed. If you know from Law & Order SVU, SA kits are always backlogged. It's always an injustice to the victims involved that they have to wait sometimes for years for it to be analyzed, or maybe even never to be analyzed. And definitely it speaks to a lot of things that are wrong with our justice system when SA kits are not being analyzed. My number 9 moment is Robby's motorcycle is knocked over by an ambulance and is beside himself. This is from episode 14. Robby's friend Duke was able to fix it eventually, but Duke pleads toward Robby not to run from his demons by hiding. That is not going to help that way. So even he realizes that Robby's in a very dark place. That's his way of telling him that he needs help. I want to see you back here after you take your ride, and if you do that, then I'll go through all the medical stuff that Robby asked him to do. Both of them are stubborn men, so we'll see if they both follow through on their agreement together. My number 8 moment was the mid-credit scene. Mel and Santos doing karaoke to Alanis Morissette's You Oughta Know. This was a really nice moment to wrap up season 2. It seems that Mel is getting the idea that she needs to get out of her shell because her sister Becca is definitely doing it. Literally. Even with another round of depositions looming, I think that Mel is starting to turn a corner. Who knows what's going to happen with her and Langdon? That might be something to look forward to in subsequent seasons. Number 7 moment for me was Langdon calling out Robby that he should seek help. When Langdon was in rehab, he said that he saw people there just like Robby, but unlike Robby, they sought help. Earlier in the day, Langdon would not have said this because his confidence was shaken and that it was rough for him to get back on his feet. Some might even say, like, why is he doing that right now? He just got off his high horse, so he's now able to do that. But maybe Langdon needed to say this to prove to Robby that he can lead. And I think that you need to see it from that perspective as well, and not from the who are you to say type of mentality. My number 6 moment is Abbott's talk with Robby after saving the pregnant woman and her baby. This is from episode 15. Abbott is asking, "You're sure you're going to miss this?" And Robby responded that the job is actually killing him. And Abbott just reminds him that this is what we do, and hopes that he comes back in one piece. This is after multiple pleas from Dana to try to get through to Robby. She couldn't do it, but of course Abbott might be able to do it because that's his brother in a lot of ways. And so this brotherhood relationship that these two men have reminds me of Boromir and Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And the whole idea of them being two trained professionals who have seen a lot, who have been through a lot, and they still are very competent in their jobs. And so it's really attractive type of quality for both of these men. And hopefully, because they're on the same level, Robby will listen to Abbott. My number 5 moment is Robby holds the abandoned baby again. This is at the end of episode 15. My wife was speculating whether or not he may adopt the baby. He did mention earlier in this episode that he didn't really have anyone left except his job at the hospital. So maybe this baby will be the thing that takes him back from the brink mentally and physically. Heck, he might even go on sabbatical and just spend time with the baby. So that could be a possibility instead of him riding, because it's still up in the air as to whether or not he still wants to ride. And maybe this baby will give him that perspective to say, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe I should just raise the baby instead. My number 4 moment is Dr. Al-Hashimi's reveal to Dr. Robby. This ended episode 14 as Robby reads the case of a woman who had a seizure disorder due to a childhood viral meningitis infection. So when Robby was reading it, I knew the woman affected was Dr. Al-Hashimi. People online have said as the hours moved on, Al-Hashimi becomes less and less well kept. We saw that at the very end of the episode, she broke down and cried in her car. She was all hair down, changed clothes, all that. So you wonder if she could handle all this, because Robby doesn't think that she can. Not sure if she's going to return for season 3, but she obviously is a brilliant doctor. Even with such an unfortunate situation, she's able to do her job fairly well. My number 3 moment is Robby calls out 2 male paramedics in front of everyone. This is from episode 14. Robby gets pissed off at 2 paramedics as they incorrectly put EKG leads on a middle-aged woman because her breasts were in the way. Robby pointed out that many women have heart attacks because male paramedics aren't comfortable touching a woman's breast. Robby's point was that in an emergency, saving a woman's life is much more important, even if it means touching their breasts. We as a society have to remember that touching breasts is not always sexual in nature. In a life-threatening emergency, the law allows consent, so the paramedics are protected. So they shouldn't have been afraid to do that at all. The paramedics thought, why do you need to call us out like that? You should have been done in private. But honestly, I think it was a very teachable moment, and frankly, they probably won't ever do it again because they were called out by it. And the women nurses and the women doctors all raise their hand and say, yeah, touch my boob. It doesn't matter. You're saving my life. So my number 2 moment is Dr. the F Up. This is from episode 14 as well. As Dr. Langdon figures out what to do with a patient who may be paralyzed and stop breathing due to a traffic accident, Robby challenges him to step up and do a risky procedure to stop him from being paralyzed and to keep breathing. Langdon was able to do it and save the patient's life. So even with that amazing high that he had, Langdon still had to take a urine test to make sure that he's still sober. So dichotomy between the two, not only between Robby and Langdon, but also the fact that Langdon still has to go through all the motions of him recovering from rehab, gave him the springboard to call out Robby for his faults as well. So hopefully Langdon has turned a corner and he doesn't relapse in the future. My number 1 moment is the pregnant woman with severe preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is what happens in pregnancy with high blood pressure, and HELP syndrome, which is another pregnancy complication. This is from episode 15 and really took the majority of the episode. This is another social commentary on the idea of free birth, when a woman chooses to go without hospitals and other medical assistance to have a baby. So again, the Pitt wades into controversy. Where are those online folks now? You know, this is another controversial topic. You have the Haitian family, you have ICE, you have lesser extent Orlando not having medical insurance. All these storylines are political. So when they say that, oh, leave politics out of the way, no, you really can't, because there's other topics that are just as politically charged as ICE was from that episode. I don't think they're going to back down from people who are saying you should leave politics out of it. I think that for those that are still frustrated by that and feel that it's a necessary part of the show, they really need to find another show to latch onto, because those storylines are going to continue. And if you don't like it, you don't really have to watch, but you won't be missed, because The Pitt is a highly rated show and a lot of people latch onto it. A lot of people like it, and even my wife's girlfriends are really into it. They're really into the whole controversy and the storylines and the interactions between the doctors and nurses. They really enjoy the whole experience. So it's going to be interesting to see, now that we don't have the Pitt anymore. It's been running since January. What are we going to do with ourselves now that we can't see it on Thursday nights? So those are my top 10 and honorable mention moments from the Pitt season 2, episodes 14 and 15. Tell us what your favorite moments were from these 2 episodes by commenting down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And we will see you in the next video. All right. Take care, everybody.